look at some of the key men. And, Liam, we're going to look first of all at the England captain, Harry Kane. Is he, in your view, world class?
I'm not convinced, Darren. I'm not saying that because I'm an Arsenal man and he's a Tottenham man. He's been a brilliant goal scorer over the last 3 seasons. I don't think he's a natural in the way Ronaldo is or the way Messi is. He relies on other people to make his goals for him. He's not one of those strikers who gets the ball and he does it all himself. But he's just so confident at the moment in the box that he is a threat, and he's such a big player for England. If he doesn't perform, if he doesn't get the goals in this tournament, and he didn't score in in the last Euros, I think England could be in trouble. So they're hugely relying on him, and he's got a great relationship with Dele Alli. He gets across that near post. I suppose Richard would be probably better to ask than me for a centre-half to say, well, what do you think of his movement and what do you think of his power, Richard, and things like that?
I think when you look at him, if I was to come up against him, you think, he's not going to run away from me, he's not going to be stronger than me, so you don't have that fear of him, but his record and his stats suggest he's doing something right. In the Premier League, he's been brilliant for the last 3 or 4 years. And until he does it, if he can do it in this tournament, well, then he can call himself world class. For the moment, he's very, very good. When he does it on a big stage and starts winning trophies and cups, then I think he can be called world class.
I do think the Premiership is easier to score goals in the Premiership than, let's say, in Italian football or even maybe in Spanish football. So I remember Ian Rush scoring all those goals for Liverpool, but when he went to Juventus, he was lucky to get into double figures because defences are more difficult abroad, and he's going to come up against that. Maybe not necessarily in this group, but going further in the competition, he's going to come up against some really strong defensive players.
I think I remember he got 7 goals in the Champions League as well. Didi, how do you rate him?
Well, he's an outstanding Premier League player. I don't think there's any doubt about it. But as the guys say, I think he's got to do it on the big stage. He's got to do it in tournaments. He's got to do it in the latter stages of the Champions League, if they were to get there with Spurs in the future. Because I think we've seen it over the last few years. I think the mistake the English media and the fans make quite a bit, and I think we had a discussion here before. The Premier League is so much different to international football. You know, the Premier League is 100 miles an hour. It's end to end. Teams, when you go into the Champions League, when you go into a tournament, when you play against the best European teams or the African teams, South Americans, they play the game in a different way. The game is more based on possession, which they don't really do in the Premier League as much. So I think the mistake they made in the past was to say, well, these guys are the best players in the Premier League. They've got to be top-class players and world-class players. And far from it, I think he's on the way to become one. As of yet, I'd say he's on the verge, but not yet.